Hey, hello everyone. Thanks for joining us. It's time for the Trade of the Week webinar. It's February 3rd, Wednesday. I'm Scott Olson, Director of Marketing at Trade Ideas. I'll be helping out in the questions panel. The audience is muted. Also assisting me in the questions panel will be Steve Gomez, Brett, and Barry Einerson, the chat room moderator. Dan Merkin is going to present, and please direct all of your questions to the questions panel. If you have a direct question for Dan, you might want to hold that until he's taking questions later on in the presentation so you don't miss out. A couple quick questions for everyone, as long as you're kind of just getting started here. You're going to see a question on your screen. You can use that to vote. Are you currently an active Trade Ideas subscriber or not? We like to ask these questions at the beginning of all of our webinars so we have an idea of the demographic of each of the different time slots. So go ahead and vote here. I'll leave this open until it looks like the majority of the audience has voted, and then I'll share the results with everyone. Excellent. So it looks like we've got a slight majority of non-active subscribers, which is great. Stick around through the presentation. We will have a special way to thank you for joining us and save some money to get started using Trade Ideas. I have a follow-up question or two for everyone as well. This one is for those of you who do have an active subscription. Do you also have the AI odds maker license? If you've been attending our webinars regularly or you are currently a client, you're probably aware that we have launched the AI in beta and will very soon put that into production. And it requires the odds maker license, which is now the AI license, to access it, as it's the higher functionality of our server technology. It's a one-time cost to get it in addition to your subscription, and once you have it, it's lifetime. Looks like the most of you who currently have subscriptions have voted, so I'll share that out. It looks like there's a slight majority of them who do not currently have the odds maker license. We have one of our offers is going to be of interest to those of you who don't currently have the AI license, so that we'll be talking about that towards the end of the prezo. Thanks, Vincent. I'll try to be a little more forceful. One follow-up question, and we can't put it in a poll because there's too many choices. Can I ask all of you who are at your keyboard to go ahead and type in the name of your broker? Do you use Interactive Brokers, Scottrade, E-Trade, eSignal, Options Express, Sterling? Just go ahead and type that in. We'll figure out a better way to keep track of this later on, but we're going to start gathering some statistics on this. It'll help us decide what integrations are priorities and that kind of good stuff. So I'll give y'all a little chance to type that in. Ben, there is a recording. You'll get an email about it, so don't worry. All right. Thanks, everyone who shared their broker. Without any more interference from me, I'm going to go ahead and turn you over to Dan, and I'll unmute Steve in case he's helping out.
Scott, thank you very much for the presentation. And everyone, I'm still recovering from a little bit of flu. If I cough or anything, sorry about that. We have an exciting exciting presentation. This one is going to be focused on really the stocks that have the most potential to be going up or changing their trends. So before we start, Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor. All the information that you're going to hear is for educational purposes only. Again, sorry about the sound if it's fading. I'm trying to make sure that my voice is clear and that I'm not coughing into the microphone. So you're here because you receive our Trade Ideas Trade of the Week email. Our Trade of the Week email is where we share an idea for free, an idea that we get from our artificial intelligence. So I want to talk a little bit about what we do. We are in the business of trying to help people make more money in the stock market. We do this in a very unique way. The best way to describe it is we count cards for the stock market. So just like in Vegas, with your card counting, here we do something very similar, where we're watching a stock on multiple time frames against all sorts of indicators, and we're matching it statistically to see what are the odds. We brought the AI to market just a little bit over a month ago, and this is how we're doing since we started. Now, unlike the S&P, the AI has to be flat every morning and finish flat. So it has to start every single day from scratch. So it can't just gap up and keep going. So this is a point versus point performance, RAI versus the SPY. The other big thing to know is that we're not simply just a technology, we're a community. You have Barry Einerson, myself, Jamie Hodge, Steve Gomez. We're all in our moderated chat room during the day, where we're discussing ideas with our clients and sharing setups and figuring out how do we extract more alpha out of the market, which is really what the presentation is about today. And this chat room, by the way, is free for anyone. All you do is create a username and you have full access to it. So without further ado, Trade of the Week. So I want to make sure that everyone can see my screen. Just type into the question and answer. Okay, fantastic. So one of the things that really distinguishes Trade Ideas from many, many other types of platforms is that, again, we approach analysis in a totally different way. We don't look for Bollinger Bands or RSIs or stochastics because we've tested every single indicator out there. And what we found is that over time, when you apply the law of large numbers, they simply don't work. Now, can an indicator be an assistant? Like, can it aid something else? It's possible, but certainly not something that is felt or is instinctive. Again, just because you hear something is called relative strength indicator, the words mean something, but the indications don't. So what we talk about at Trade Ideas is really, and I'm going to talk about this card counting real quick, okay? So, and if you notice, Trade Ideas has full charting. So we look for these things that have a lot of potential energy, where one type of trend, and here you see Christopher and Banks, big gap down, a lot of volatile trading, tries to come back, another big gap down, more volatile trading, tries to come back, huge sell-off with the market, more sell-off, but now it's starting to really try. Okay, and look at this behavior that starts basically from this final gap down to where you see the arrow right here. Now this arrow is here because basically our AI has told us that CBK is now a candidate. It hasn't triggered yet. It hasn't started to appear in our strategies, but it's a candidate because here's the card counting part. The AI goes back and it looks for other times, other stocks like CBK did this, where it went gap down and then did this kind of trading, this sideways, tried to go up, failed, made another attempt, but had an area right here that was similar in price that went up and now came back, but to again, a higher resistance. And here it just made another high. So this is a very, very strong, solid point. And one of the things that I do on these webinars is I am always trying to showcase names for you so that whether you're a subscriber to Trade Ideas or not, you can make enough money to pay for the subscription if need be. So look at it again. I'm going to expand this so you can kind of get an idea of what we're talking about in terms of the potential energy. So see this huge gap down from like 330 to here. I mean, this day was huge. I'm like Donald Trump. Incredible. And look at the volume. So whatever bad news was happening here, afterwards, this is what's called like a digestion. So the market's digesting. It takes time, many days, a lot of oscillations. But all of a sudden, it's kind of by itself forming a bottom. Okay, and our software notices this, and I'm speaking about it kind of in terms of, now, this is what visually you can say is a double bottom, but it's actually more like a triple bottom, and this is actually a penetration. So this was the double, this is the penetrating triple, but the thing is, mathematically, what you realize is it's not literal penetration, it's kind of generalized areas. So it's all, this is an area of support, this is a area of more pointed support, and the stock is starting to finally kind of create another base and move higher. Again, it had done this before, right here, but this is starting to statistically, because of the length of this, the Trade Idea software says this looks promising. And what I'm going to do now is I can right-click in any single chart and create an alert. I'm going to call this the Trade of the Week type of setup. Okay, so now notice as soon as I do that, okay, the volume band is at the bottom, and also you can see it in tooltips. So as soon as I did that, you can see that I have this line now where when I come back to this after, you know, I do other analysis, I'll never lose the signal that I wanted for CBK. So again, the job of me, for what I'm trying to do on this webinar is I want to tell you less about like how we do stuff and more of what we do in terms of getting you some ideas where you can make money. So I've got two types of setups here. And what I'm going to show you is EROS, which was our Trade Ideas Trade of the Week. Now, if you look at this EROS, and I'm going to expand this right here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so you had the same kind of very steep, painful move to the downside, and the stock was trying to build a base. It had a point right here, and it really started to go higher, and we had signaled it on this day, okay, where it was really, this was the move. Now, what happens is, look, nobody can foretell the future, okay? So it's impossible, when the market started really selling off, a natural seller might have come in. This could have been the same person. But yet, the stock is still exhibiting the same kind of behavior. It's just at a much better price. And you can see that we're looking for that kind of, I mean, we always want to see if something that V bottoms will go, but when it doesn't, you want to see that kind of horizontal base and then a penetration from that base. So again, EROS, we especially if the market turns, we see this heading higher again. So it was our trade of the week, and I definitely suggest that you keep your eyes on it, because again, if the market turns, if we've built any kind of bottom, this looks like it's heading into the 12s and maybe even the 14s. So that's EROS. So another one that I really like is this one, TLN. Okay, so I had I already made a couple of notations on the chart, but you can kind of see it. The idea is that you've had a lot of excuse me, you've had a lot of negativity over a very fast amount of time, and this base that it started to build right here, our software indicated to us that this base is starting to look different than anything that it had seen in TLN before. So this little part right here where you see this trend line being broken, and this trend line, one that goes all the way to the top, this is a pretty significant move right here. Okay? So we like this, and I even put in an alert on it right at, I believe, 7:56. So I'm really looking for a potentially continued strong move to the upside. Let's continue. Okay, so here's another one, Cliffs Natural. I'm sure you guys know exactly what that company does, but here you can see what the software is trying to find. Now, this is not us doing this visually with our eyes. Our software is bringing this up to us after counting the card type movement of what a bottom looks like. What does it look like when a stock bottoms? Our software says it kind of looks a little bit like this. Okay, so CLF, and here I have my trigger signal so that when CLF breaks 199, I'm going to take a shot at it because it looks like the momentum will definitely continue to be on the bullish side. So that's like what a nice bottom look like. And I want to make sure that as I'm giving you these today, that again, it's not just about features. At Trade Ideas, we're going to give you the ability all throughout the day to find these types of moves and more, much more. But for the people on the Trade of the Week side, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to showcase to you the card counting kind of moves where we've already done all of the math for you, where you can really start to isolate some names that give you a lot of potential. Okay? Okay, so I'm also going to answer all of your questions, and I mean especially the ones that don't get asked by my assistants. But Scott, real quick, do you want to just give everyone a high-level overview of the pricing, and then I'll jump right into the rest?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Sounds good. So what we are is a software as a service company, and our primary model is a subscription base. So our core subscription is the monthly $99 a month, and that includes everything. That includes all of your real-time data, the exchange fees. It includes charting. Very importantly, it also includes your one-on-one training. Which what you need to do to get that as soon as you become a customer is go to our help section, to our support section, and click on training, and just select whichever date and time is available. We made it super easy to do, and then you're scheduled, and you'll get reminders. It's a great way to get kick-started. If if you want to get on the annual plan, that gets you on the 888 per year, and you save a bunch compared to the monthly. It also grandfathers you in. Either of these grandfather you in at this rate if we ever have any rate increases. As long as you have your subscription active, you are grandfathered in at the old rates. We also have the AI. So the AI is accessible with the AI and oddsmaker license. It's a one-time fee, $1,100, and what that does is it shows you the trades that are performing in the market right now. So you'll find strategies from the AI channel from Holly. You'll find strategies and trades that have a high upside potential statistically right now. They're active today. You'll also have access to backtest the entire market using that oddsmaker technology. This lets you optimize your own strategies without any programming or being limited to a small number of stocks or a single stock. You can find what events are going to help you capture alpha in today's market. Again, the AI is accessible only if you have the AI channel oddsmaker license. It's the one-time $1,100 on top of your subscription, but it is a lifetime license. So whenever your subscription's active, you always have the high-level trade ideas functionality. I'll go ahead and let Dan come back on, but do stick around until later on in the program. I'll have something really nice for y'all.
Scott, thank you very much. As I was listening to Scott, I wanted to make sure everyone understands something. You know, what we're doing here, this is like being a venture capitalist, except on a small scale. You know, all of us are here because, of course, we want to make money in the markets. And by the way, venture capitalists want to make money on their venture investments. The difference is they commit a whole lot, and they plan on losing almost like their loss percentage is probably 70 to 80%, with the hope that the 10 make it. We do it totally differently. In investing, especially in the stock market, the reason, again, you guys are here with me in this webinar is because we can buy a stock like Cliff Natural Bars. And if we're wrong, we can get out the same exact day without sitting in there forever and calling our lawyers, and then taking our capital and moving it somewhere else. So this is so important for everyone to know. You know, the expectations. People say, well, what do we expect from these moves? Whenever we try to find changes of trend, we like to see big reversals. Like, look at this stock. Why can't it eventually head back to 12 or 22 for that matter? I mean, look at this. I mean, we are not trying to find things that are there to be day traded for 10 or 15 cents. Not at all. You have to see the forest through the trees. Look at this move as it relates to, you know, what the kind of trend change that could happen. Let me show you what that kind of looks like. So we've talked about, like, what was the one that I really, Sienna was a, okay, I'm going to zoom out real quick. Okay, so this was a stock that was another one of our Trade Ideas Trades of the Week, and it's continuing to go. And again, notice the footprint of a trend change. Okay, very, very interesting for our AI. It knows that something is going on, and this is continuing. But what does it look like when it succeeds? Okay. Let me go back here. Okay, so you see this, and we're trying to get this trend to go back higher. And it could go much, much higher. But people ask me, so what does this look like when they work? This is what the answer is. So you see, look here, we have the climactic move down. We try to regrind, find the bottom, finds it here. By the way, it's not pretty, you know, support, broken support, but instantly goes up, makes you think like, okay, this is the change, and then nope, all the way to the bottom, and only then does it start. This is what makes, trading visually so tricky, and why Trade Ideas customers, and the reason that you're here is we talk about doing it mathematically. Again, just like people who speculate professionally, knowing the odds, counting the cards, so to speak. So, Noodles and Company, that's another one that's on the excuse me, it's on the AI radar, because it's really starting to exhibit that behavior where it possibly wants to completely go. And imagine, I mean, this is a very tricky stock. It's like a double diamond. There's all the gap downs. But should it change, my goodness, I mean, you could see a huge reversal to the upside. And something happened here where the Trade Ideas AI picked this up enough for this to land on the trend change lubricant list. Okay. So let's look at what else is there that can pay you for your subscriptions. Swift. See, you have to be able to look at the big picture, not just the small one. And this is what our AI does in multiple time frames at the same time. So like if you're stuck over here, you might say to yourself, whoa, Swift, it's running into a bunch of resistance, which by the way it could. But again, if you're able to have just a slightly deeper point of view, and this is the key to our success, is that our software does all of this at the same time. It's looking at this trend change, and then it's saying, wait a minute, it tried to do it here and failed, but this looks interesting. So again, Swift, that is on our radar right now. Let's see, this one came across. This is an interesting pattern. And again, different price stocks, but they're behaving in the same way. This is like a red bar ignore, where something's going on, and then this green bar is completely overshadowing the red bar. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer some questions real quick, and then I'm going to dive into some more names. Because again, there's a couple of more names I want to show you, and hopefully, again, give you some opportunities to really make a lot of money. So Swift, when was it picked up? It's being picked up, I noticed it today. So today, because of this. Okay, hold on. Okay, this has, excuse me, Gary, so this has a lot of the things that we like to see. It's trying, and it's above this area, so all of that is good. What you probably want to see is a pullback into this area and a pickup, or if it goes higher, then then you're already in, and then you picked it up. This is exactly the kind of bottoming pattern that the system likes, with the large volume and a big 2-candle V bottom like that. It looks very nice. Again, you obviously are never able to know until it happens, but it looks very nice. So, to be the one, yes, Leon, this is how this is configured. 1 to 1,000, up 0.5%. It's got a minimum positioning year range of 75, so it's in the top 25%. It's got a dollar volume, I think, of 500,000 minimum, and it's in the top percentage of its 20-day range. So it's strong, kind of like on all those time frames together. Gary, I did not have a CAT on my list, but it has to do with something totally different. Not that you have magic that I don't, but simply my filtering criteria is filtering it out for various different reasons. But the point is that there are tons of these kinds of names, and it did not register on the radar yet as something that the AI picked up as going. So most likely, that just means that statistically speaking, this move will fill back in, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. It just means that that's most likely what will happen, especially since you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. Typically, again, most likely a little bit of mean reversion, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. All these lists that I'm showing you, these are, again, AI-generated lists. So you're not going to replicate them exactly the same way as we have them unless you're using trade ideas. That's the only way. So Max, our software allows you to backtest anything that you want. You can take an alert window and you can say something like 20-day moving average. That's just an example. Price between $4 and $100. Call it the 20-day. So now that window is right there. It's called the 20-day SMA break. You just configure it to check it. Okay, no problem. Exchanges. Then I can backtest this to see if, for example, it would have been something that I would or would not have wanted to do on the long side. So, so again, what I'm doing here is, this is the kind of number processing that our software allows you to do. And notice I didn't write any code, I didn't do anything. I just basically said, show me the 20-day moving average and let me see if that's a good trading signal. And we just ran through over 2,500 simulations, and it's almost done. And here, 2,900 simulations, 44%. So you can test anything, and it's the only technology that allows you to do this kind of event-based testing. So again, ACAT, all good. Let me see here. So, Organovo is an interesting one. It landed on Hidden Gems because it's got a pretty big quarterly revenue growth. Again, the stock's been behaving terribly. So, but because of what's happened over this course, since it's made, like every time a stock makes a bottom, so like when it makes this kind of bottom, and then it makes this kind of bottom, and then this, like we were looking at this pretty significantly in the summer because this move right here looked like had it gone through here was something serious, something that was, you know, very significant, but it continued lower, but now it's again setting up. And very low risk. Again, it's not going to go anywhere, but keep an eye on ONVO because again, it's in that kind of hidden gem area. Okay, let's see. So float on, Shake Shack, similar. Again, you can see starting to do it, and it's a very big negative trend line if it can be broken. So very, very positive if it can break. Not yet. Nope. Ah, yeah, DDD. That did come across. Which one did I have that on? Ah, here it is. It was in this. It was in the new loves window. Okay, so this is thanks for bringing that up. So this is the other window that I wanted to show. And definitely, again, and some of the names are the same. So VLTC, you know, this one has been very tricky, but it's trying again. So it's one that you can't believe, and it always cries wolf, but you got to keep an eye on it because it can go up or down, you know, 100% on any given day. So Sienna, we said it looks very good. Better, Amplify Snag brands. Okay, like how that looks like. Oh, here's your ACAT. It was on the New Loves window. So again, it looks like we are totally on the same page. Clayton Williams Energy. Software likes this base. Okay. Could be a huge turnaround. I mean, the energy sector was really getting pretty annihilated. So if you can be smart enough to be in when the turn happens, I mean, there's potentially gigantic returns here. Okay. So let's see. Swift, we've already covered. JCPenney is starting to look good. You know, whenever you see something like this where the high is higher than this area, that's a strong sign. Of course, Triple D. This is actually an interesting one because I had this trend line on it a while ago, and I just wanted to show people that, you know, even when something breaks a trend line, it still can be tricky. So I'm going to get rid of this one. And just notice how you can just annotate things, but I have my buy trigger is right here. 866. So I'm ready. I've got this loaded. So with trade ideas, that's again the other thing that remember you can do. You can put your signals in. So here's another Mimecast. Looks good. I mean, huge pickup from the bottom. CPN. I know I saw. I mean, this again, look at the V bottom here and this basing and how good this pickup was right here. This is what we're really trying to do also. Okay, and that's why I was saying that right here on ACAT, you're probably looking at a little bit of a pullback before it starts. But again, setting it up. Nope. Okay, American Capital Agency. So this is one that it looks, if you can kind of, here, let me show you. If you go to markup on our software and you go to trend line, so I can basically grab a trend line and just draw it anywhere. And if you do that, so you can kind of see that right now, this trend line is really being broken. And this one goes all the way back to September 2015. Okay? So when that takes place, that's again, to me, that is an interesting sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right above here on this high, and I'm going to set the alert and just call this a full trend change. Okay, so let me answer a couple of questions. So Gary, we connect to a number of different feeds, and we are also a registered revendor of data. We connect to Nanex, we connect to Townsend Analytics, some other stuff for fundamental data, but we have everything server side, and that's how we all do it. We have our own metadata. So when we take the data from the stock market, we compile it, and then we create our own data with it. Okay, let me look at AA. Okay, so I already have I have AA, and I have a trigger for it at 761. So it looks good. Yeah, it's one that I already had. And here's another one, VIPS. Okay. That one's starting to go. Yeah, I mean, you can sort our data in so many different ways, and on each different sort, you find slightly different views. That's one of the beautiful things about how I work with the technology. Is it always slightly different view? But the most important thing, at least for me on the Trade of the Week webinar, is to get you guys thinking about what's really setting up to look at it, the energy names, because again, look at the strength. So I'm going to hydroelectric power, Westar Energy, AT&T is doing good, energy. So this is an interesting thing for us to know. You know, these energy names are being bought up, you know, and they're really coming out of long-term reversals. Here you go. Gary, we appreciate that. Well, the thing that I really want to make sure that kind of everybody here understands is we're almost beyond the stock picking per se, because what we're doing here is, as Scott said, we have artificial intelligence that's counting numbers during the day and is helping us pick out trades all throughout the day that have the most potential, you know, potential statistically, that is. Nobody can tell you what will happen tomorrow, but you can't play the odds. And that's why our system is literally destroying the S&P, and we believe that we're going to change the way everybody is going to approach investing from this point forward, because our software puts you in opportunities to just capture more alpha. You can not only see what's working, if it's the short side or the long side during the day, but you watch how the software manages risk, you know, and you learn from the experts. So our trades on the AI last anywhere from a half hour to the whole day, but you do not have to get out. Our whole notion is trades that are profitable, you can stay in them if your risk tolerance allows you to stay in them. Like, I want to show you some of these names. Take a look. So here, we bought in entry price APC 41.21. Okay, we bought here, it sold off, and we were stopped out. And it finished at 42.50. Now the odds were right, but the timing was a little bit off. But because you can, this is the beauty, I mean, this one trade really will explain to you why you need to have trade ideas, and it's very simple. So you get into the trade, let's say right here, right? It goes against us, and we have a stop out. You get stopped out, let's say right here. But you can come right here and say, get back in AI, and if you want to, you can be right back in at the trigger price, which in this case ended up working out. So there's a way to never miss it. But look at the bigger picture of what it's trying to find. You know, it's trying to find significant bottoms that have a serious potential to go. You know, we are not chasing. The AI was never invented to chase 10 cents or 20 cents. We're looking for the big one. You know, we're trying to find things that run, that go a very potentially huge type of move. So again, it doesn't always work perfectly, but this technology, there's no better way to speculate in the stock market than this artificial intelligence. Because again, every single strategy that you're in has a number behind it. All of these strategies are competing to find which stocks are going to be the ones that are going to give us the best payout tomorrow. And this is happening right now. Our AI right now is crunching. So every night, to get you these numbers for tomorrow, every night we do approximately 1 million practice trades. So you can ask yourself, like, why did Dan, which one was this? Like ACA? Is that the one? ATA? Can't even remember which stock that was. Hold on. ACAT. This one. So why did Dan think that this was going to come back down? Not because I want to, but simply we ran enough odds on these to know that most likely this move is not a straight continuation. It's a pullback and then a re-break. When you have access to this kind of statistical analysis, it makes investing totally different. You know, you can see that every day to succeed, you have to at least potentially be in either direction. So this is not always the case where you have the same amount of longs and the same amount of shorts. This just means that this was the statistic setup. It means the market could have gone either way, long or short. So we have the best technology and the best kind of magnifying glass for you to see what you should be doing. The question, of course, is going to be, you know, what do you want to do? My goal is really to showcase what we do, to explain how you can see it, how you can really channel surf from stocks of interest to stocks with the highest predictive potential. And again, in terms of the trade ideas trade of the week, we're looking for this kind of setup. A setup that turns around and then continues to go. That looks at a nice long-term base, turns it around, and makes that base a foundation for the next up move. Thank you, Joseph. Let's see, hold on a second, oh. So the question was, on AEO, would I put your buy stop at or above 5? AEO, I mean, I don't really see if I'm short or this doesn't. AEO does not look that attractive yet. It needs to start coming. So like maybe like right here, I could put like at 1532. So that's like, if it starts to go like right here, that's where I would see it. Wow, Vincent, that's awesome. Vincent, come into the room, into our free chat room. You can follow, it's free. You come in there and hang out, and we'll share setups and everything. So that's for everyone, by the way. I mean, we had close to 90 people here most of the time. Our chat room, which is right here. If you download the software, it's at the bottom, but it's really, if you Google, just all you would literally have to do is Google Trade Ideas Support. I'm going to do it right now. And you go Trade Ideas Support Index, free instant access, and it goes right into our Omnovia room. And this is, again, free for everyone. Gary, I did. I looked at AA. I believe I agreed that it's starting to look good. It needs more. You know, but everything starts right here. Yeah, I mean, this looks like a nice bottoming formation, but I sort of want to see a bigger push higher, and I already kind of made a trigger on it. It's like right there, so it's really getting ready. Abraham, interesting. Shoot an email to info, and we'll make sure that everything is there. It could be as simple as right-clicking in it and going refresh. So right-click in the white spot and go refresh, and you should get the defense. And this is what it looks like. So yeah, EROS. Drew, we did cover it. Whoops. I'll cover it again. So EROS, you would have been stopped out, and that happens. But this trade is still setting up in such a way that, you know, if you were entering right here, I would give it to probably 7, another point to see. But again, only if it's a very, very bullish market. I mean, this, whatever was going on with euros, it had to do with how the rest of the market was tracking. So this looked very good, but it sold off hard. Tomorrow is going to be a key day, especially after the way the market traded today. Okay, let's see. Max was asking about my AA trigger. It's just at the high above the bar. It's that simple. So I just went, I said, I want to see it just above today's high so that I know that whatever demand is there, it's still strong enough to cover it. So again, just something to know. Everything links. You can also scroll down. So instead of clicking, you can just arrow key up and down. Make it very easy. Remember that we don't just analyze stock data, we're analyzing social data. Okay? Here's GoPro getting annihilated after earnings. So this analysis of the fact that we can do both social, unstructured, and structured is part of the advantage. Now, when I was talking about the AI, people were asking me, so which system is the most profitable, right? Well, this question is such a good question. I'm going to finish the whole presentation on it. So just so you know, each one of our setups, and I'm going to expand this out. This is the most important part of the presentation, everyone, right here. Okay. So I'm going to type in AMZN. Okay. So this is Amazon on a daily chart. Okay. So every single trading day. Okay. I'm making this so that everyone can really see. Every single trading day, every single one, for any stock, has a top of the range, a middle of the range, and a bottom of the range. Okay? Top, middle, bottom. These are thirds. It's super simple as a concept, and everyone right now is going to get the secret of how our AI works. So thirds: top, middle, bottom. Top, middle, bottom. Top, middle, bottom. Top, middle, bottom. Etc. Every single stock is the same. Every single day has a top, middle, bottom. So we split these strategies right here into top, middle, bottom concepts. So this is key, guys, because again, this is some of the secret sauce. What does that mean? Well, it means that some of these strategies are buying highs, some of them are shorting highs, some of them are buying middles, some of them are shorting the middles, some of them are buying the bottoms, and some of them are shorting the bottoms. So that whichever thing that is working, because only three of those things can work. You can either go up or down at the top, up or down at the middle, or up or down at the bottom, right? And we're looking for any of that. We've split it up into 45 different concepts. Like obviously selling into strength over 20 is selling the top over 20. Selling into strength under 20 is the same thing, but selling the top under 20, and so on. So each one of these strategies is a base concept, but the underneath is all done by computer power, and the AI is constantly looking for what needs to be changed and what's working the best. So Holly is right now studying, except unlike all of us, she's doing a million trades, and she's looking at how today's data, including the spiders and what they did, how that affected everything, to see which strategies, and it won't be these, are going to be the ones that are active tomorrow so that we can take advantage. And again, look at, by the way, I mean, little things that are kind of hard to notice. Started up, market was very volatile. It started up $1.50, then it kind of pulled back hard and was negative the whole day, and it fought back a little bit better than fought, but then it really took off at the end. And for like, probably I think that's 7 to 10 minutes, I mean, it really wasn't a lot of winners. So the thing is, we're always giving you opportunity. Our AI feels like it has to trade because it doesn't know if a doctor is going to be available in the morning, in the middle of the day, at lunch, or in the end. So it's putting on trades whenever the odds make it happen. But that only then, only when the odds set up. And every single day, tomorrow, the next day, you know, you're going to be given all these opportunities. And you can do two things. You can follow, but you can also learn. And both of those things not only help you make money, but they help you become a better investor and trader in general. So Scott, you want to take it away?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So slide number 6 shows the promo code that you all can use today. And I've done something to make it super easy for you. If you look at the handouts panel in your GoToWebinar interface, there's a PDF right there for you to download that has this exact slide on it and the next one. And what this code that you see highlighted will let you do, Holly has to be all caps, HOLLY 3, so it's capital HOLLY 3. Use that code on checkout and it takes half off of your first month. It takes 20% off your first entire year, or 30% off the lifetime AI oddsmaker license to get Holly, the AI. So for example, if you're already a subscriber and you want to add the AI and the oddsmaker, you can do that using this code for just $770. It's a lifetime license. That's a lot less than the $1,100. You can get into your first year for just $710, or try us out for the first month, only $49. You need to use that code before Friday, February 5th. At the end of business, it'll expire. However, there's something really exciting that's going to be happening throughout the next 2 weeks. And that is, we are taking the AI build, version 4, out of beta and putting it into production. So this package is going to be going away on the 16th. So what happens next week, on Monday, version 4 will no longer be beta, it will be production. And we are going to extend this package for another week after that. So it will be past President's Day, and then it will expire at 8 p.m. Eastern on the 16th. It's a way to get the AI and the top-level functionality of trade ideas for free, basically. So compare this to paying $99 a month. That would be about $1,200 for the year. Here you get a full year of trade ideas and a lifetime oddsmaker AI license for just $1,288. It immediately saves you $700. And the best way to get to the page where you can buy it from is either to type that URL in exactly as you see it, bit.ly/capital AI Holly, so that all needs to be caps, or download the PDF that I placed in your GoToWebinar presentation and just click on the link. We're also going to send you an email by tomorrow morning containing a link to the recording of this webinar and this information again. Just do want to highlight the fact that this 1288 package is not going to exist after the 16th. We had a similar price when we introduced charting last year, and the people who did not get in before we increased our rates, that was when our annual rate went up from $628 to $888, and our monthly went up from $75 to $99. So do keep that in mind moving forward throughout the rest of this month. Thanks everyone for coming. Do appreciate it. Spending your evening here. Any questions at all, email info@trade-ideas.com or dan@trade-ideas.com. The info ad is the support email, and that's the best one to send inquiries about getting any of the scans or windows or any unanswered questions in there. Hey, Dan, if you're still listening really quick, I did see a question that I wasn't able to answer completely regarding the E-Trade integration. Is the strategy scanner still just the alerts and odds maker, or have we added the multi-strategy top list and channel bar in that one yet? I can't.
Right now, the E-Trade integration is still dated. We're working on them to try to upgrade them to the newer version, but they still won't have the AI. That's such a huge innovation that I mean, we really haven't had any plans to license it yet, but everything else but the AI.
Yeah, so let me find that gentleman's name. Well,
so Gary,
I lost it in the questions there, but yeah.
Gary was asking a question about the account. I mean, everyone's account value is pretty private. Not only they disclose it, but generally speaking, you can trade this kind of system or strategy with a day trading buying power account. So something that's above 25,000.
Fantastic. Thinkorswim integration. I don't remember if that one's working correctly.
Our software links to Thinkorswim, but there's no automated trading through.
Yeah, that's right. It'll be the symbol linking, but it does work correctly. There are one or two platforms that have some bugs because they updated their software since. But
Yep.
I'd say 90 something percent of all the platforms out there we can link directly into without much of a hassle. And if you do have any problems, just email info@trade-ideas.com. There's usually a workaround that we can walk you through if it's a special case. So do keep the info@trade-ideas.com email in mind for any questions at all. Follow us on Facebook. We're at facebook.com/tradeideiaspro. We sometimes put some special things up there. Dan posts a lot of stuff during the day to @TradeIdeas1. Good place to follow. Also @TradeIdeas. Lots of good data coming out of there too. If you have a specific question, you can call us during normal business hours on the West Coast. Technical questions, though, the info@tradeIdeas.com is the best place for the technical stuff. As I mentioned, the webinar was recorded. You'll get a link. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Barry. Good evening. Good night.